Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishna Kesubos, Perek Beis, Chapter 2, Mishna Aleph, Mishna 1. Okay. So now, as we said previously, a woman who got married when she was a Pesula, when she was a virgin, in case her husband dies, or if she divorces her, he has to pay her ksuba. And that ksuba for a virgin is 200 zuz, which means if he divorces her, he pays her. If he were to die, his heirs would have to pay her. And if she married him when she already wasn't a virgin anymore, when she wasn't a virgin anymore, she had gone through chuppah with him, and then they get divorced or he dies, then her ksuba is 100 zuz. So the following Mishnah is a case where there's an argument. When she got married to him, what was she? She says she was a basula, and he says, no, you weren't. You were not a basula. So here's the case. So Isha shenis armala shenis garsha, a woman who became widowed or divorced. She says, basula sasani, that he married, that you married me a virgin. And he says, Loiki, not so. I married you as a widow. Meaning, now you could say, like, why don't you produce the ksuba, right? Produce the document, the ksuba, and see what it says. What's the answer? It's gone. It's lost. So now it's an argument. She says I was a basula. He says you weren't a basula. Interestingly, if the case is that she was widowed, this argument is going on between her and his heirs. And his heirs are going to say, "No, you were not. We know you. You know how my father told us that you were not a basula. You were an almana. You were a widow. You were a divorcee. Whatever it may be." For who I married, and he says, "Loiki, not so. I married you a widow." So what do you do? If there are witnesses that she went out with a hinuma, and her hair was perua. It was the exact definition of word. Right, her hair was untied. That means like this. A hinuma actually has two explanations. One explanation of a hinuma is a veil that goes over her eyes. That is how, when a virgin was taken, the day of the chasana, what happened there? What happened is that the woman was taken from her father's home, and they brought her to her husband's home. And there was a procession. And in that procession, if she was a virgin, she wore something, or she did something that would actually say she was a virgin. Was a virgin, this was the custom, what people did. One thing is she went with a hinuma. One explanation of a hinuma is it's a veil over her eyes. That is what a virgin would do. If she was not a virgin, she would not have gone out like that. Another thing is that, or another explanation to hinuma seems like it was a kind of a canopy. A canopy, the Bartanura says, that was made from hadassim. From hadassim are willows. No, hadassim are myrtles. And they had like this chuppah, this canopy that she was under, that she went out from her father's house. This was the practice if she was a virgin. The other practice was reisha perua. Her hair was untied, which means that she wore her hair long over her shoulders. That was a sign that she was a virgin. So therefore, if there are witnesses that when she left her father's house, that is how she left, then ksubas masayim. Then that determines for us her ksubas masayim, because she has proof that she was a virgin. Because only virgins left their father's house to go to their husband with these things, and there are witnesses to the fact. That's evidence that she was a psula, that she was a virgin. If she would not have that evidence, then she would not be able to collect 200 as a virgin, because at the end of the day, what's happening? At the end of the day, what's happening is that she wants to take money from them, right? She wants to take money from him, from his heirs. The rule is if there's a dispute, to take money away from someone, the burden of proof is on you. So the burden of proof is on her to say that she has the right to demand 200 zuz as a virgin. So if she has the proof of these witnesses, she's got enough proof to be able to take the money away. But if she doesn't, All she has is her claim, and that's not going to be enough to take the money away. Rabbi Yechim ben Breika Omer, the son of Breika, said, Av chila kloyes roya. There was another, meaning where he came from, there was another thing they did by the wedding of a virgin, and that was they gave out kloyes. That means they gave out roasted grain to the children, like a treat that was given out. By putting it, the way they describe it here in the notes, grain that has been dried in an oven to make it sweet was distributed at the wedding of a virgin. Okay? So basically, according to Rabbi Yechim ben Breika, at least where he lived, there was another sign of her being a virgin, and that was this distribution of these roasted grains. If there are witnesses to that fact, that is evidence that she was a basula when she was married, she was a virgin when she was married, and she was able to demand and collect 200 zuz. Now, here on the bottom, there's an interesting, very interesting point that's made, and I'll read it to you here in the notes. Although Gamliel and Rebbe Lezer ruled that a woman can collect 200 zuz even without proof. Remember the cases before where it was a question, for instance, right, let's say in the case of, she claims that she's not a virgin because she was wounded by a piece of wood. And he says, nope, who says? We don't have proof to that. Maybe you already had lost your virginity before the Arison, before the marriage. Or she says, I was violated. He says, no. Who says you were violated? Maybe you cohabited willfully. So Rabbi Gamliel and Rebbe Lezer said, she's believed. We believe her to say that she was a virgin. Okay? Here we don't, right? She's saying she was a virgin when she got married. We're not believing her here. So we need to explain the difference. How come in one place we believe her, one place we don't believe her? So the explanation let's give is the following. That Rabbi Gamliel and Rebbe Lezer over there said she's believed. They would agree that proof is required here in this case. They were dealing with cases in which the husband and wife agree that she was not a virgin, right? They're both agreeing to that fact. But she claims that she lost her virginity in such a way that she did not lose the right to 200 zuz. For example, she was violated during Arison, right? She agrees, she's not a virgin. But she's saying, why she's not a virgin? Because of the fact that she was violated. He's saying, no, you weren't violated. Maybe you cohabited willfully. But everybody agrees that she's not a virgin. The question is, how did that happen? Now, at the end of the day, well, let's say the claim is she was violated, right? So she is sure of her claim. She says, I was violated. He says, no, you weren't. How does he know? He doesn't know. Which means the husband is not sure at all. He can only suggest that she might not be telling the truth, and therefore she needs more evidence to take money from him. Since she is the only one with a definite claim, and the rule of chazaka supports her, she is entitled to 200 zuz. Remember, the whole idea there was that there were two things. Her claim was certain, his claim was not. She can be certain to say, she can claim with certainty, I was violated. He can't say that for sure. He has no idea. So she has a certain claim, he has an uncertain claim. She also has the chazaka backing her up. She has the chazaka backing her to say that she was born a virgin and she remains a virgin until we know otherwise. So she's got the assumed status of a virgin backing her up. So she's got both. She's got the chazaka, the cheskas pasula. She's got the assumed status of being a virgin, plus the claim of certainty. In our Mishna's case, here, where the argument, what did I marry you? How did I marry you? Did I marry you as a virgin? Was she married as a virgin, or was she married as a non-virgin? Here, in our Mishna's case, by contrast, the question is whether or not she was previously married. The question is whether or not she was previously married. A public matter that both wife and husband can claim to definitely know. Right? It was a public matter. Did she go out with this? Did she not go out with this? Did she go out with the veil? Did she not, and the hair down? Or did she not go out like that? It's a public matter, right? It's not something private. It's public. In general, it's public. So therefore, he can claim with definitiveness just like her. He could say, no, you were not a psula. And apparently, as a public matter, his heirs would be able to claim the same thing. Therefore, the two claims thus cancel each other out. She has a certain claim, he has a certain claim. She has no advantage in her claim over him. And she is left with only her chazaka, her assumed status, right? Her assumed status was that she was a psula, virgin until we know otherwise. Based on that chazaka, yeah, that would say she was married as a psula, because, that's her assumed status until she's married. However, a chazaka alone is not enough to be able to prove her point, to be able to take the money away from him. So the difference between the cases before where she was believed is because she had two things. She had the chazaka, the assumed status she was a psula, plus a claim, plus a certain claim against his uncertain claim. She's got the stronger claim plus the chazaka. In our case, she doesn't have the stronger claim. They can both equally claim, but definitively. She says, I was a virgin, and he says, no, you weren't. And therefore, the claims cancel each other out. She has no advantage over him in her claim. The only thing left she has is her chazaka. Her assumed status as being a virgin. That's not enough to be able to take money away from him. And therefore, even Rabbi Gamliel Rebbe Lezer, who before said she could be believed to say she was a virgin, here she is not. Okay. Din Isser Kabbalas Rechilas Afil Mesiach Lefi Tumay. The prohibition of believing Rechilas is even if you're hearing it from someone who is not coming to intentionally tell you this, but he was just kind of talking. He sees the person is not coming in any way to try to bring about any kind of negative feelings between you and him when he tells you what happened. He just said it. He just said it. There was no real intention to let you know what he's done to you or try to do to you. He just mentioned it. Just kind of came up and, he said it. And so you'll say, well, if he was just innocently saying it, maybe that gives you basis to believe it. And the answer is, no, it doesn't. That's what was mentioned before regarding Lashon Hara, and that is also the same thing regarding Rechilas. Just the fact that the person is being Mesiach Lefi Tumai, that he's just kind of innocently, by the way, saying it, is not enough of a reason to allow you to believe it. Previously, we had it in the Mishnayos, right? That we had situations where we know that a man died to allow his wife to remarry was based on a guy's Mesiach Lefi Tumai. If the non-Jew came to tell you about it, you can't believe them. But if they were just happened to be mentioning it without trying to tell you about it, we could believe him. There's something about when you just kind of, so to speak, innocently say something, off the top of your head in some ways, that gives it validity. It gives it a certain degree of validity. But here, regarding the laws of accepting rechilas, that would not help. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi. Okay, so you have this female